Well, good morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. And I told you a great weather pattern coming for most of us. It's coming for all of us, but, what do you call a great weather pattern? Low humidity, some sunshine coming, and comfortable temperatures, 75 to 80 degrees, a lot of the temperatures in the forecast for the afternoons. But some of us, some of you, I stay out of it with what's the right kind of weather for right now. I take it all because I'm a meteorologist, but some of you still want the hot, hot stuff of summer to last forever, and it doesn't work like that. Now, one thing I will say is we actually have lake effect drizzle out there today, and it's not showing much on radar. So you could be a little surprised, say, why isn't there anything on the radar? I heard that from folks around the Traverse City area yesterday. I guess pretty well showered off and on all day there with nothing on radar. Remember, these light showers are low in the atmosphere, maybe tops of 10,000 feet. And if you're 50 miles from one of the Weather Service radars, the radar beam is above the rainfall. So I'm just showing you the most sensitive radar I have right now. And it's showing you what we have in Frankenmuth. We have light showers, drizzly, quite damp, very wet actually in Frankenmuth. And you can see that northeast wind is making some lake effect rain showers. There's probably more out there in the thumb than what shows. But the point is today, this morning, anybody in the southern part of the state could run into, say, a brief lake effect band of drizzle. Now, here's the satellite imagery, and the clearing is coming in from the north. So the north half of lower Michigan, mostly clear. There are some clouds coming in, even lake effect clouds. You can see them coming in by Sheboygan. But we should have generally a clearing sky through the day, with the exception of maybe the thumb staying in a flow off of Saginaw Bay. Hey, let's say hi to Henry and Meemaw Luddington. Good morning. Carl Y. Good morning. Catherine Cyphers. Good morning. Tony Crino. Good morning. Kalamazoo. So again, here's the radar, and you don't see really anything on it. Here's the cloud forecast. I thought that was kind of important because it is gloomy out there for sure. And like I said, the clouds should be clearing as we go through the day. So this is, well, give me a second here. I'm going to hit refresh and grab the latest. Here we go. All right. So let's go to noon. The clearing line somewhere around Bay City, Saginaw, Mount Pleasant, maybe still cloudy in Grand Rapids. And as we go to the afternoon, 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, the sun coming out in the Grand Rapids area during the afternoon hours. And 6 o'clock. So Ann Arbor, Detroit, you might be cloudy all day with that northeast wind off of southern Lake Huron, making the clouds. Good morning, Janet McClintock. And then as we go into the evening, more clearing. And as we go to tomorrow, I would call it mostly sunny. This is tomorrow afternoon. We'll get rid of the lake effect streams of clouds and just go to spotty clouds. Radar forecast for today looks dry, but again, on a northeast wind, the thumb, you can have a scatter rain shower. Northeast shoreline, Harrisville, Oscoda, you can have a rain shower. At downtown Traverse City, probably not, because it looks like you've cleared already, but the conditions are there for a brief shower. And then as we go into Thursday and Friday, we're looking at dry weather and great weather. All right, so I'm going to show you the weekend. The big story in weather, I think, is that we have our first real taste of fall on the way. That's coming this weekend into early next week. By taste of fall, morning lows down to around 50, afternoon highs in the 70s, maybe some afternoon highs only in the upper 60s. And is summer over? No, but it looks like hot weather is really going to struggle here for the next couple of weeks. And then you got to think, well, really hot weather is probably over at that point. So here's the European model. Again, Thursday and Friday are dry. Today is, for the most part, dry eventually. Now, this is Saturday's cold front. So this would be the 6-hour rainfall from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturday. So it looks like Saturday morning would be showery. And then morning into afternoon, it shifts to the southeast. And then Saturday afternoon into evening, the cold front will be from Saginaw Bay down to Lansing, and the showers will be ahead of that. Sweep on through. Sunday, we get into the cyclonic curvature, the cyclonic wind flow around the warm Great Lakes, colder air aloft and at the surface blowing over those. So we're going to have some spotty lake effect rain showers Sunday. And at some point, it could be in the favored lake effect areas, what we call the northwest snow belts, because we know it mostly is snow. You could settle into a day much like yesterday with off and on rain showers all day long. Now, this is next Monday. So we're going to have a couple of unstable days with the cool air around, and then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look great. This is another cold front by Thursday, maybe reinforcing the cool air as we head into the holiday weekend. A little far out to worry about it just yet. Doesn't look terrible, but my nephew is turning 40, so he's got all these things lined up in northern Michigan, and he saw the forecast. He said, it doesn't look great. I said, it doesn't look hot for Labor Day weekend, but 70s certainly could happen. So here's that same model. I just want to show you a different look, and this has the temperatures aloft on it. So this is what a cold front looks like. So this is Saturday morning again, morning into early afternoon, Saturday evening. So we're going to call it showery. And note the red lines, those are the colder isotherms, the lines of temperature behind this cold front. And you can see how they're being blown in, and we really drop off. Here's a good look at it too, also in the upper air. So, of course, there's Hurricane Aaron, and once that moves on to the northeast, it allows this next storm system to drop into the Great Lakes. There it is on Monday, so that's a very fallish type pattern with a cool upper low, cool damp upper low, maybe a couple of reinforcements. Then we go out to Saturday, August 30th, Sunday, August 31st, and then we go to Labor Day. And you see a little bit of a trough, which keeps extreme heat out of the area. And it's potential that would have a spotty shower, but it doesn't look like it would be a big type of rain. Ended out at September 4th, and maybe then we go the other way and start to heat back up. It's a very typical pattern that we've had in the last decade or two, is that we get a little cool blast and then go back to some hot summer weather. Today, low 70s in the southeast because you're going to have clouds. Grand Rapids, you might hit 76. Traverse City, you might hit 75. Tomorrow, under the sunshine, 75-ish to 77, beautiful. Friday, tack on just a couple of degrees, picture perfect. By the way, I'm taking Friday off at MLive. They're pretty good to us. They're real good to us at MLive. And they gave us 3 new summer holidays. So we have to use them before Labor Day. So I found out I have 2 left. So I told my wife, this Friday, next Friday, I'm out of here. And it looks good, like good weather too. All right, so let's get into the weekend and the cold frontal passage. Here we are at Saturday. Here's Sunday. So, Traverse City, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Boyne. Maybe highs only not even hitting 70 degrees. Same for Cadillac. 72 in Grand Rapids on Sunday. That'll feel fallish. And the southeast with all of the pavement, the urban heat island, you could still try to get to 80 degrees. Here's Monday, highs in the 60s to near 70. And Tuesday, upper 60s to low 70s. Next Wednesday, next Thursday. Let's take it into Labor Day and take it for what it's worth. Almost, I feel like the surface temperature forecast does not match what the upper air says. The upper air says it'll be cooler than that. This is Saturday. This is Sunday. And this would be Labor Day. So like I said, I wouldn't call it a hot Labor Day weekend at all. Now, note that when we get to Monday morning, we're down into the 50s. When we get to Tuesday morning, we're down to upper 40s and low 50s. Cadillac could be 48, 47. Big Rapids could be 47. You'd be like, ooh, Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's definitely some cool fall temperatures on the way. And just to mention it, here's the wind forecast for today. And it's a northeast wind, so that keeps the east side of the state pretty breezy. This is this afternoon. It could be a little bit on the cool side. And then as we go into tomorrow, the winds start to die down somewhat. So east side of the state, don't be surprised at brief periods of light but really kind of damp, chilly rain showers. Not a ton, less possible as we go into the afternoon. West side of the state, I'd call it dry and improving weather conditions, and then I'd say it's fantastic for Thursday and Friday. If you get extra summer holidays and they have to be used by Labor Day, you better look at the calendar and you better use them because we do have some great weather still. There you go. There's your MLive morning weather update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me as always, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.